Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith are set to announce the next phase of their landmark energy pact in Calgary this Friday, according to City News Everywhere. The upcoming announcement will detail an implementation agreement on industrial carbon pricing and progress a potential new pipeline project. While specific details remain scarce, sources suggest the carbon emission price for industry could reach $130 per ton by 2040. This marks a significant move given Alberta's previous freeze at $95 per ton and aims to reset the province's relationship with Ottawa. The agreement also mandates that Ottawa offer equitable treatment to other provinces adopting the federal carbon price following a 2021 judicial ruling. The initial Memorandum of Understanding last year committed both governments to various steps for a bitumen pipeline to the West Coast. A group of sex workers in Montreal, known as the Sex Work Autonomous Committee, is calling for a general strike during the upcoming Grand Prix weekend. Scheduled for May 23rd, the strike aims to highlight demands for improved working conditions, including an end to nightly fees imposed on dancers and clubs, the establishment of comprehensive labor protections, and the full decriminalization of sex work by the federal government. Dancers like Kit describe prohibitive nightly fees, sometimes exceeding $100 per shift, which can lead to dancers losing money. They also emphasize the lack of worker protections for self-employed sex workers, leaving them vulnerable to injuries or illnesses without benefits. Lena Rosenoff, working in massage parlors, echoed concerns about safety and the inability to properly vet clients due to the criminalization of purchasing sex and running brothels. Valerie Scott of the Canadian Alliance for Sex Work Law Reform supports the strike, criticizing current laws as harmful. Belgimsine Anada, the Grand Prix promoter, stated its opposition to sexual exploitation. The Canadian Press reports that, while participation may vary, the committee plans continued advocacy. The Canadian Press reports that Conservative politicians are raising concerns about the CBC's funding of a new Indigenous spoof program called Northland Tales. The show, which is also produced for APTN, reportedly used deceptive tactics to secure interviews with prominent figures who have been accused of minimizing the impact and damage caused by residential schools. Conservative MP Aaron Gunn stated that the production company behind the show used false pretenses and disguised their identities and motives to entrap individuals who have defended Canada's first Prime Minister, Sir John A. Macdonald, and question the history of residential schools. CBC's head of public affairs, Chuck Thompson, defended the show as a satirical prank format used by Indigenous creators to foster understanding of historical injustices and support truth and reconciliation. However, critics, including former Alberta Premier Jason Kenney and MP Billy Moran, argue that using tax dollars for such a fraudulent activity is appalling and disrespects residential school survivors and their families. Global News reports that the Ontario government has unveiled a $3 billion strategy to add approximately 2,500 new jail beds to its correctional system over the next decade. Solicitor General Michael Kerzner announced the plan on Thursday, addressing escalating capacity concerns, with provincial facilities operating at an average of 127% capacity in 2025. The strategy involves adding 255 permanent beds to existing jails by November, incorporating 1,703 beds through rescoping current projects, and constructing 610 beds via rapid builds, including secure, tent-like tensile structures on current jail grounds, one of which already exists at the London Elgin Middlesex Jail. However, the plan has drawn criticism, particularly regarding the policy of triple bunking, adding a third bunk to cells originally designed for 2 inmates. Justin Piche, a criminology professor at the University of Ottawa, warned that this could be a recipe for increased tension and violence. Kersner stated that all build-outs would ensure adequate facilities for both staff and inmates. The province reportedly aims for nearly 6,000 additional jail beds by 250. The Canadian press reports that the federal government has announced a $12 million investment in British Columbia's forestry sector. Energy Minister Tim Hodgson made the announcement in Richmond, BC, stating that the funding will support 14 projects focused on low-carbon wood technology, expanding mass timber use in construction, and Indigenous-operated initiatives. This investment is part of Canada's broader strategy to diversify its wood production and lessen its dependence on the United States, especially in light of ongoing unjust tariffs. The announcement follows criticism from BC Premier David Eby, who expressed concern last week after the lumber industry was excluded from a $1.5 billion aid package offered to other Canadian sectors like steel, aluminum, and copper, which have also been hit by tariffs. Minister Hodgson highlighted that the federal government has previously committed $2.5 billion in support for the forestry sector and is currently working constructively with the province. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.